Hey, this is Kate from dailytarotgirl.com, and this is your weekly tarot card reading. For this week's reading, I am using the Light Seers Tarot, and I'm going to begin by drawing 3 cards. Each card is going to represent an aspect of the upcoming week. And my intention with this reading, as always, is just to get some fresh ideas and insights into the week ahead. And before I dive into the reading, I want to introduce you to my new foster kitty. Her name is, my lighting's not the best here. Her name is Mackenzie. And Mackenzie is, I think, almost 2. And she was rescued from the wild, or captured from the wild, when she was older. So she was like over a year old, and she's been in foster care for a few months. And she was pretty wild when she came into foster care. I'm her 3rd foster home, and hopefully I can get her ready for adoption, but she looks very calm right now, but she can be very, very hissy, but she hasn't tried to bite me or scratch me yet. And she does let me pet her, but she's going to take a little bit of time. Okay, so let's start with the first card. The first card is Monday and Tuesday of the upcoming week. And here we have the Knight of Wands to represent the beginning of the week, which is a nice way to start the week off. The Knight of Wands is very energetic. There's this burst of inspiration and just pure energy with this card. If you have been stuck in a rut lately, and I know I kind of have been, this is kind of that oomph, that burst of energy that you need. It's like you break through that period of, being stuck in a rut. And there is this burst of energy that's available to you in the beginning of the week. And to me, it seems like physical movement of some sort will be important. So here we see this woman banging on a drum, but and the horses kind of dancing in the background. And there is this link, I think, between physical movement and being able to move energy in our lives. So if you're stuck in a rut, ask yourself, what can I do? How can I physically move in a way to kind of like get things moving? Like I find dancing can be a really powerful way to move energy. So if you're feeling kind of down, or if you're just feeling kind of stuck or low energy, sometimes just getting up and dancing for a few minutes can really shift your energy. I also think like sometimes just going for a walk can be really helpful. There's many different ways to do this, but that's what I'm getting from this card. Also with the Knight of Wands comes this newfound, or maybe not newfound, but there's this thirst for adventure and to explore new horizons that you have not explored before. That may come in the form of wanting to sign up for a course, take a course, or read a book, or meet a certain person, or go to a place you've never been, try something new. There is this air of adventure and exploring new frontiers with the Knight of Wands. And so I think that's how we can make the most of this week, and especially the burst of energy at the beginning of the week, is by maybe taking ourselves on like a little mini adventure or a major adventure, depending on how adventurous you are. Okay, so this is interesting. We have a reverse tarot card. So we have the Hierophant reversed for the middle of the week. Now, I don't read reverse tarot cards, and I usually always shuffle my deck in a way so that my cards are always right side up. However, if a reverse card happens to make its way into my reading, I feel compelled, even though I don't technically read reverse cards, I feel like I need to take note of this. So I'm going to read it upright, but then I'll talk about what the reversed meaning might also mean. Okay. So the Hierophant. The Hierophant is a major arcana card. And what's interesting is I've been working on a series of videos and blog posts where I dive deeply into each of the major arcana cards. And yesterday I was sitting on my back steps and journaling about the Hierophant and really going into this card. And so I like that it's shown up in this reading because my explorations into this card are still fresh in my mind. The Hierophant, I love this particular Hierophant card because he's laughing. There's like this spirit of like laughter and fun with this card, which normally isn't what I get when I look at the Hierophant. So the Hierophant represents taking a path that is well trodden, a tried and true kind of path. It's like following a certain set of rules and a certain formula. So I'll give you some examples of this. When you take a class from someone and they give you exercises and they give you a course syllabus and like assignments, you're tapping into that energy of doing something that is it's structured. Someone gives you a structure. So when you take a course, when you get a university degree, or just when you take some kind of course, there's a certain structure. Like you have to read certain things or study certain things, take certain tests. There is this sort of method to it. And there can be a lot of advantages to doing that, having that kind of structure. Like the light side of this card is that structure and that practice allows you to grow and discover things. So in this case, the Hierophant is laughing and he seems enlightened. And what I get here is that the middle of the week, having some sort of structure or practice in your life is going to be helpful for you, particularly in kind of a spiritual way. So I'm thinking like some sort of spiritual practice or something. Now that could be anything. It could be prayer, it could be journaling, it could be doing yoga, it could be meditation. It could be going for a nature walk and just being really present, but having some sort of regular practice where you just show up and you don't necessarily have any expectations for that practice to do anything or to take you anywhere magical, but you just show up and put in the work. And the Hierophant is saying, this is going to help you take things less seriously because it's going to give you a sense of routine and structure. And it's almost like this is going to kind of take a weight off your shoulders. So let's look at it reversed. So I read this card as being, in a positive light. Now, in a negative way, the Hierophant can represent institutions and structures that are oppressive. Instead of existing to hold a space for your growth, they are just oppressive and they limit you. And I think, you maybe have had the experience of learning from a teacher, taking a course that felt not inspiring, that just felt very limiting and the opposite of inspiring. So reversed, I would say that this card is I feel like it's asking you to take a look at, I want to say, the oppressive forces in your life, but that's not really what I want to say. I think when it comes to the institutions in your life, whether that's a university, a job that you have, the government, or trying to think of the other institutions. There's so many different institutions that we interact with. and not even necessarily institutions, but the Hierophant can represent established ways of doing things and kind of that established hierarchy and power structure. And I think we always need to be asking, like, is that structure helping you grow as an individual? Is it helping you, or is it hindering your growth? Is it keeping you, do you feel imprisoned or protected? Do you feel imprisoned or protected by the structures in your life? Okay, so let's look at the last card. Last card is for the end of the week, and awesome. We've got Ace of Wands. So these are all pretty powerful cards, and especially the Knight of Wands and the Ace of Wands, there is a lot of energy with these cards that I like. There's a lot of passion here. So the Ace of Wands, all aces represent a new beginning of sorts. This could be a new idea, a new way of looking at things, a new opportunity. The Suit of Wands represents energy, passion, and action, the actions that we take in the world. And this ace, I feel, represents, like, there might be an opportunity to take a step this week that will be an important step. It will be like the first step in a new direction for you. This might be something, I feel like this is something that seems small now, but later on down the road has the potential to turn into something much bigger. So never underestimate the power of baby steps and those initial first steps that you can take towards making something happen. I like how the face on this card, the person on this card, has her eyes closed, and this kind of teardrop shape of fire is not quite on her third eye. It's kind of on the crown of her, not quite the crown of her head, but on her forehead. And it makes me think of like psychic connection, intuition, going inward. All the figures on these cards have their eyes closed, which I think is interesting. Knight of Wands has her eyes closed, the Hierophant does. And the Knight of Wands and the Hierophant have the exact same facial expression. They have their eyes closed and they're laughing and they look happy. And then this figure, the Ace of Wands, she has her eyes closed and she looks, I wouldn't say that she looks calm, but it's like she's inward focused. She's focusing inward. And if I read these three cards together, it's like the Knight of Wands feels inspired and she's going with the flow. The Hierophant is like he's just had some enlightened insight or realization and he's just laughing to himself. And then the Ace of Wands, it's like she's quieted down and she's getting some really good insight into something and she's just really focused on that. So I do feel like the Ace of Wands kind of represents turning inward, but also taking baby steps in a direction that you feel called to move in. Okay, so I have been talking a long time, so I'm gonna stop talking now, but I want to invite you to have a look at these cards. These cards all have a very similar energy to them, so feel free to add your 2 cents. Let me know if there's something that you see in these cards that I didn't see, or what fresh insights you get when you look at these cards. There's fire in 2 of them, and even the Hierophant, there's like not really fire, but a lot of light, which I think is cool. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this reading. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed this, and check out my website, dailytarotgirl.com. I'll put the link below this video. So I hope you have a wonderful week.